Hey everybody, here's another video. We're going to go over it very quickly. You see the title here. We're going to talk about the market right now. Maybe I offer a little bit of a different perspective. So essentially the other day, Bitcoin going down and down and down and down, and then it closed the futures gap. That's what winded up happening. It had a futures gap on Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We're controlled by the big money interests that the crypto people were claiming to be breaking themselves away from. And it's not controlled by regular people. Way back when old dude off of Shark Tank was claiming back in 2013 or 2015, something like that. He was like, once Bitcoin went over $1 billion, I would put 1% of my net worth or 3% of my net worth in there. And then he claimed in 2017 or 2018 that it was the first time, or it's that crypto crap stuff. I'm like, man, these people that are rich and at the highest levels of those things, they just lie about everything. Kind of reminds me of the U.S. government. They say, hey, do what we say or else you got consequences. And if you do what we say, what do we get? You don't get punished. That's what it is. So same thing with them. They say one thing and it's really something else. So with that being said, hey, we closed the Chicago Mercantile Gap. Technically, it's another one under 10,000 US dollars for Bitcoin. Let's see if it gets there. We get there when we get there. We cross the road when we get there. But for right now, it looked like this was a dump and pump. Usually we got pump and dumps. This was a dump and pump. I look at it as a V-up formation. Some of us say V-up formation, where it's a V more or less instead of an inverse head and shoulders. Because, this looked like this could have been an inverse head and shoulders upside down, but it did not turn out to be one. I wouldn't have been able to see it. Matter of fact, I did not see it. It was that CPI news or something like that. Normally, I just ignore news trends, and then I pay attention like I was talking about inside of my Discord. Once Bitcoin gets up to a certain level, then I'll start to pay attention. Then we got the sign that Bitcoin's going to go a certain percentage. I called Bitcoin dropping 50% before it happened. Not financial advice. Always do your own research. But if you'd like to join our Discord and all the accuracy or the, sometimes being wrong thereof in there, go ahead in the description below. You see the pricing for that. And we got a special pricing right now. But as far as that, for the people that may be in the Discord watching this or anybody else, where do I see this going? Well, I already talked about on the previous videos, MATIC being in a bull market. Right? I'm not going to pull up the 200 EMA right now, which I normally do. We're over that. The 200 EMA is somewhere down here. Same thing with the 4 hours there. It kind of basically went down, bounced back up, and it was looking pretty good. All right, it's looking pretty good right now. They're really just doing their whale moves and just messing around with people. Some people are saying that this could be the one last exit pump. But I said this before. I said, look, I look back here. Let's go to my favorite. You all know I like this. For the ones that are that know me over the years, even though this YouTube channel looks very brand spanking new, I got booted off of YouTube because of false copyright strikes with some certain people. Will not mention them right now because once we get big enough, we should hopefully be impervious. But that's why I say join us on Discord. Anyway, I saw this back here. Remember way back in that ancient time, long ago, called 2019, after the 2018 stuff way back over here. So 2019 came along and we had basically a similar pattern. Look at this pattern right here. Here we go. It started to match it. Isn't that funny how these kind of look simply. Yeah, I know. I was trading based off of that. Once I got out here, then I noticed a little bit about a month later, I think. Yeah, that was a month later that it looked pretty similar. And then from there, I just made an assumption that we're going to trade pretty similar. I was in short season, even though it was an uptrend. Now, I looked at this and said, hey, if we're mimicking something like the previous cycles, which they all are somewhat similar but different, then we're going to have like a little period of time where we come back up before we go down again. Like always. You go down before you come up, right? You go up before you come down in the world of markets. And since there's unlimited money that comes in the form of the Federal Reserve and all of that until, the U.S. dollar hegemony or multipolar society or whatever gets put in. Until that point, it's looking like the financial markets are running things. And even though they contribute very little to society, if that continues, and when that stops, I think that Bitcoin, gold, that's where a lot of the money is going to go toward. That's where it's going to go toward. I know this video, you were clicking on it for something else, but let's give it a longer term view. Some of that is correct. And that's the reason why all of these big money interests, they put their money in there. They don't have to pump it up too much. They don't have to put too much of their money in order to make a lot more. They just got to be, the way they're looking at it, like they do this. They got unlimited bailouts so far. They got unlimited ways to gamble. I don't look at them as any smarter than the rest of us. We actually got to be smarter than them because we don't get unlimited bailouts. You and I don't get unlimited bailouts. When something happens to me, and people would know that even in a Discord, if I called around, hey, you mind helping out? This thing happened. This money stuck here. This thing went like this. That's what we got to do because we're regular people. But these people up there like Shark Tank Dude and all these other people file bankruptcy. Hey, let somebody else take care of my business failing problems. Or better yet, just go to the government and say, well, I'm so broke. I had billions of dollars that I gambled. Billions of dollars, hundreds of millions. And I'm so broke. I'm like that homeless person right there that you could be helping, but you're going to bail me out. And matter of fact, you're not only going to bail me out so that it's like nothing happened, you're going to give me extra money so then I can go gamble again and I'll never learn my lesson because I just got bailed out. So that's where we're looking at. If these people finally get cut off, which I think we're coming to a point soon for that, and I still think that's before 2030. I can't tell exactly when. That's the point there. The way I look at it here, since they're not going to be bailed out forever, nothing lasts forever in life, right? We all die, so we're not living forever unless we find a way around that. So this isn't going to last forever. The people are not going to be continuously bailed out like that over and over and over. So what happens is, I believe that this right here is the first warning sign about one or two scenarios, and I'm leaning toward one. I don't do the finger pointing bros that say it could go up, it could go down, and all around like that. I used to do some finger painting bro stuff. Then I realized, look, take a stand. You're a man. Just do this. Now here it is. Now, two scenarios. I'm gonna give the one that's less likely in my opinion. Again, always do your own research, as my rabbit is licking my foot right now. Now, the scenario is we could wind up, this whole thing is like a house of cards and it just collapses. And it really doesn't really recover like that. Or it could just stay down for a decade or so. That would be equivalent to so many people. They're like, man, I took out a loan. I should have used it on this, but I kind of used it in crypto. I borrowed all this money. Yeah, that could be the case. Okay, let's look at that scenario. We got to look at that first. Okay, great. I think that's less likely. I think it's more likely for something like that to happen in the stock market, right? I can see that happening in the stock market, the financial markets, because so many people are not too happy with U.S. and Europe at the current moment and how things are being handled with certain special operations that they call wars and stuff. So, okay, great. Now, let's look at it from the other perspective, the most likely one. When these people, like I said, get their butts handed to them eventually, some of them will have a little bit of extra money and they would have bought enough Bitcoin, got enough Ethereum, got enough of these other cryptos. Plus, you got the early crypto people that just kind of wail around with the lower liquidity, so it's easier to push things around. So that's the thing. It's easier to push prices around. So we kind of get maybe even an illusion that something went up, right? So I think that's what we're going right now. That I looked at crypto this last time. We went up to about a 3 trillion. Let's show it right here. What is that total? Total. There it is. This is total with everything. Now, this went to 3 trillion right here. 3 trillion market cap. All right. So I have the rule of a certain rule where I see the next pump up if we were to go. Conservatively is 5 trillion. So that means, taking profits, where I would do it is about 4.2. The 4.5 is where the area I'm taking profits is still leaving about, I don't know, 10 to 20% on the board, maybe even a third at most. It just depends. I have to get there when it's closer, but definitely at 4.2 earliest taking profits, or really sometimes the latest. And then if we do the money shot, we're going over to 7 to 8. Looking like we're going to go to 10, but we're not quite going to do there. Now, if we do the moon shot, then we're going up to like 11, or we're just going up high. And I think in that scenario, that's where we go into maximum pain in other areas. And then it's just like this really weird mega pump that just comes into crypto, or seemingly weird mega pump. Because I'm thinking this scenario is going to happen between the moon, the money shot, and this mega pump. Okay, moonshot is going over up to about 10 or 11, and then mega pump, it's just, I have no idea where we're going to stop, but I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to be so nervous, and I'm going to be taking profits at various spots along the way. And of course, if you're going to be in our Discord, I'm going to mention where I'm doing it. Obviously, it's for not financial advice, not tax advice, not legal advice. Obviously, it's my particular mindset on these things from an educational perspective. Always do your own research. But that's where I'm looking at it right now. Where do we go from here now that this CPI data has come out? Where do we go from here now that BRICS Plus is talking about releasing their currency, 5Rs, I believe it's called, or the tentative name. And then what do we do about the SUR, which is South? Down there in Latin America, they have countries banding together saying, hey, we need to have a hedge because U.S. keep doing all these sanctions. Like, we just, like, darned if we do, darned if we don't. It's like, we listen to you. All of our stuff is messed up. We always got to have people suppressed and oppressed, looking over our shoulders. We're getting tired of that, man. That's what they're looking at, right? And then the other side is, if we don't listen, then we got to look over our shoulders, probably got to suppress some of our population, because if not, we kind of get offed. We get disappeared, assassinated, deleted, whatever the word people want to use. That's kind of how these politicians, public servants are now speaking from various countries. They're literally just saying it out in the open now. And now your empire is falling when various people from all over the place are calling you out. That's how you know you really don't have as many allies like that, even the ones in Europe. So they're calling out the U.S. and saying, hey, you've kind of abused this. You don't follow the rules, like when you were put to trial in Afghanistan, and then you just said, hey, if you keep this trial up, judges, prosecutors, attorneys here, your kids go to American schools, you got American banks. We might want to do something about that if you keep going forward. And then they just stopped. See, people are getting tired of that. So that's why I said, when this US dollar, house of cards falls, I don't know when. It just looks like before 2030, and it's really accelerating and whatnot. This may go, and you're looking at Bitcoin and saying, yeah, 20-something thousand. All these things about $1 million Bitcoin. I don't know about that, but if I were to see 250,000, $500,000 Bitcoin, that's just like, wow. A few months ago or a year or two ago, Bitcoin was 20,000. It went down below 20,000 to about 15 or 16,000. And I remember only a few years before that, when Bitcoin, when I first saw it, was $3,350 or $70. So that's where I think we're going toward. We're going, looking like, I would say about a 150 to 175,000, more conservative. I thought we were going to go maybe 150 the last time around. I was clearly incorrect, although I did wind up calling the actual top on Bitcoin both of those times up there, and then was looking for it to maybe go into some sort of bull flag. But yeah, that's why I see it. Where do you guys see crypto going at this point. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? Let me know either way in the comment section below. I look forward to you all liking, commenting, and subscribing, and most importantly, sharing. And I'm glad you came to this video. You could have gone to any one of the other many hundreds, probably hundreds, or many other videos out on the web, but you chose mine. Thank you very much. Peace. On the next one.